So welcome back to my video series. This time I'm going to take a break from the figures and I'm actually going to redo a WWF ring. My friend Shane, who has given me some of my original figures to begin with, found a WWF ring in his shed, and this is one of the worst rings that I think I've ever seen. As you can see, it's in pretty rough shape, but I'm going to tell you now, I am going to be able to redo this. I have one turnbuckle that is missing. That should be easy enough because I now have a 3D printer, and hopefully I'll be able to use that in one of my first projects on that to fix the turnbuckle or make one. I will need some ring ropes, so I'm going to order those tonight. Those are about 15 bucks a piece. These ring ropes have seen better days. They were well loved, and that is great, but they also need replaced. I'm going to attempt to pull up the tape without damaging the sticker too much, but I have a feeling that I'm going to need to replace the stickers also and all throughout as well. So this one may be a total strip down where I get all the stickers off and then clean it up and then start from scratch. I know the ring ropes will cost me $15. I'm not sure on the stickers, but I do have some people online on Facebook that will be able to help me out. So I'll get to this in bits and pieces. This will be a work in progress. I will not get this done immediately, but we'll do it in some stages and go from there. So there you go. WWF LJN Ring number 2. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to take apart this entire ring, and I'm going to look at the posts and the turnbuckles and just see what might be needed on it. Obviously the ropes have got to go. So bottom line, I'm just going to pull this thing apart if I can. And then I'm going to take the ring, I'm going to soak it a little bit, and then I'm going to clean it with my bleach. Actually, my soft scrub. And just give it a good cleaning. Probably soak it so I can get the stickers up because they're not in great shape. So I'll start with the ring ropes. They're fairly simple. Those are all just going to pull off. Hopefully not in front of the camera too much. There we go. And then, if you've seen this before, these just slip right off. What I'll do is I'll soak all the turnbuckles. There's not really any way to damage those things, so they should be in pretty good shape. I think I counted 11. So I'm going to have to 3D print at least one. Some of them have, I'm not sure what it is on it. I don't even want to guess what they are. I think they've been sitting in a shed for a while. Like that one's got a crummy old sticker on it. And so those are the turnbuckles. What I'll probably do is wash up the ropes because somebody may want them. I don't know. I don't want them. I've got another set too in case someone wants it. So if I'm counting these out, 5. There we go. So we got 11, and that's workable. If I just have to 3D print one, that's no problem. So what I'll do is I'll soak those in my little kit that I've got. I've not pulled the posts of these out. I think it's just a pull off and twist. There we go. So that came off. I think all the bottom pieces are to it, so thank you to my friend Shane who was able to save this for me and donate it to my worthy cause, I guess. There's the second one. Make sure I'm on camera a little bit. That one twist off. There's the second one. I'll get that post out later. He even gave me a few free spiders in here as well. Always appreciate that. Not really. As my students know, I'm not a big spider fan. Alright, so the posts, I'm going to have to work out a little bit. They're not wanting to come out. Okay, so I'm now at the soaking stage, and my sink kind of sucks, as I've clearly been figuring out. I'm trying to fill up my utility sink, and I don't have a plug at the bottom, I just realized, so I put a little flat one in that we have from downstairs, and then I had to put a brick on it, and it's not working out too well, so we're just going to make do. So I do have, eventually it's going to fill up on top of where my water is, or where my ring is, and I'm just going to drop right now all my other pieces that I have into the water on top, since I need it anyways. Doesn't matter which piece it was, it's going to go into the soapy bath, because it was, who God knows when the last time was that ring was cleaned up. So all the turnbuckles, all the posts that I could break off, I'm going to go throw the ropes in there too, even though I have zero plans on using the ropes. I'm just going to set them in there and let them soak. And we're just going to make do with it and see how it goes. I won't let it sit for very long, just enough to maybe soak up on the stickers, and that way I can scrape those off. So gonna let it sit for a little bit and we'll come back to it later. Alright, so my next step with this is I'm going to drain this water out because it's pretty disgusting. Nice and yellowy. Then, make sure I have this where you can see it. Take my water, it's hot water. Just going to run it back over everything again. I'm going to let it sit. And so that's kind of the clean rinse. Now I'm just going to take each one of these, and I'm going to scrub this out. I'm going to set it up to dry. So, doesn't look too bad. A little bit of paint or something on it. So I'll clean all these up, and then I will give it a true clean rinse, and then I'm going to set them off to dry. You don't really need to see this process. So I'll do this. It'll take me about 10 minutes, and then I'll tackle this ring and see what we can do. So after a nice hot bath and scrubbing the ring posts, the suctions underneath, and the turnbuckles all look pretty good. There was some yellow sticky stuff that was on each of them, or on a couple of them, and they came off really well. So pretty pleased with that. I do have one turnbuckle that I'm missing. The two posts are still in the ring. I couldn't get them off for the life of me. So the other turnbuckle, though, I'm going to make with a 3D printer. And I'll show you how that is done once we get our 3D printer working here this weekend. All right, so the ring looks like a nice hot mess. It's pretty disgusting. It did sit in the bath for a little while, so hopefully the heat will hopefully open some things up. And there's the ring post. I am not going to try to save any of the stickers because they're just too far gone. So what has worked before for me in the past is I will take some soft scrub with bleach. And I am going to sorry for the shaky camera, that's dumb. Let me shake this back up again. My apologies, I can't get it set to where I want to put the camera down. All right, so I'm just going to put this on here. Clearly a technical way to do it, I suppose. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread it with my hand across at least the front. And then we'll work on the sides once the front gets done. I do want to let this set for a little bit and soak up. And then I will use my little scrub brush there to clean it up. So we'll come back in just a few minutes. Okay, so I haven't had a lot of luck with the soft scrub. I showed someone a picture of this, and they asked if this had been used for a cat litter box since 1993, and that may very well be so. So I'm gonna have to find something, an alternative, to see if I can pull that out. Someone gave me an idea of soaking it in peroxide and seeing if that would lighten it up. I may give that a shot. So what I'm actually doing now is I'm going to scrape. You can see my scraper down here. I'm going to scrape the stickers off because while it's wet, I can at least do that. I can work on the sides a little bit, and you can see that the corners have come up okay, but it's just that middle part, and I don't know if I need to let that soft scrub just soak a little bit more, or maybe get something industrial. I also need to get goof off because that the duct tape is not coming off real well. So I'm just going to keep at this, and I'll keep you posted. Okay, so I took some time to soak the stickers, and I used my little brown scraper from my kitchen to take the stickers off. Clearly I have some glue on the bottom part, and so I'm going to need to get some goof off to be able to take that off. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try one more time to put some of the soft scrub on, let it soak up a little bit. I did note and figured out why they had duct tape on it. It's because there is a nice old crack in the middle of this. Not sure how I'm going to fix that. Probably try just to hot glue it. And if I do sell it, I'll make sure to let the buyer know why that's there. But it is what it is. That's still a nice ring, and I'm just going to use it, obviously not to play with, but to display stuff. So if I keep it, it's a second ring, covered up with a sticker, no problem there. So I'll scrub this up a little bit more and see if I can get a little bit further with it. Okay, so here's my second attempt at trying to clean the ring off. What I've decided to do this time around is, first of all, I found a stopper for my sink, and I'm filling it with hot water. And then someone gave me the suggestion of using both OxiClean and hydrogen peroxide to sit in the water and then drop the ring in and see if that will take off any of the staining that's in there. He says that it works, so I'll give it a try and I'll let you know. The ring actually does need to be cleaned again first. It's got a lot of sticky stuff on it, so I bought some Goof Off that I'm going to use on that, and I'll show you how well that works. Alright, after a couple rounds of Goof Off and getting scraped down with the plastic scraper, the ring is now sitting in the tub. It is plastic, so it floats, so I had to stick the big Clorox bottle on top of it. So again, I've used OxiClean and hydrogen peroxide, and we're going to see how that turns out. I'm going to let it soak pretty much all day and just see how it turns out later in the evening. The other suggestion that goes along with this is to set it out in the sunlight. Unfortunately, right now it's about 15 degrees out. So if that's an option, we'll have to do that, and I'll sit out in the backyard and we'll see if the sunlight can do anything with it. I'm still having some trouble getting this post out, so I'm just going to do this project with the posts in because I don't want to break the little plastic pieces down at the bottom. So we'll give it most of the day to soak, and we'll see how it turns out. For my next attempt at trying to take the yellowing off the ring a little bit more, I decided that I'm going to try a method that someone told me online, which is to mix some OxiClean and some hydrogen peroxide. So what I did is I put a little bit of both in here. I'm going to stir it up. You can hear it kind of fizzling a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my ring, and I'm going to set it outside, and I'm going to let it sit in direct sunlight. We're going to see if that works. So you can see that it's still got some yellowing. It's definitely cleaned up a heck of a lot better than it did before. But this is going to kind of be an all-day thing. I'm going to go set it out now, pour this on top. I'll brush it on a little bit, and then we'll let it set in sunlight all day, probably before I leave for the afternoon. Put another coat on and see if it works. So let's test this out today and see if we can get a nice bright white ring. Alright, so the sun is out today. It should be overhead here most of the day. And I've got the coating on the ring. I'm going to let it sit. Afternoon shouldn't be a problem out in the yard because I've got it fenced in. We'll just see how she goes. So we'll come back in a little bit, see if we got any kind of change whatsoever. So here's how the ring looks like after the second treatment. Actually after the first treatment. I put a second treatment of the stuff on it, and we'll see how this goes. I'll keep it out here. Hopefully the sun comes back out, and I think it's lightened up. Definitely much better than when I first got it. It'd be nice if we could get a little more out of it, so maybe I'll just flip it around, see if we can get some more sun on certain areas, but it looks okay. Looks a little bit better than it did, so we'll just keep trying her out. So here's the ring after my second attempt outside and putting the peroxide and the OxiClean on. It looks really good. You can tell it's starting to fade, and has faded. It does have a couple parts kind of on each side that I'm going to need to redo again, but you know what? So far, this looks pretty good. And I'm really pleased with this method, and so I would suggest it for anybody. I'll do it at least one more time to see if I can get the, especially on this side, a little bit more out, and then maybe along the sides as well, but it looks good. So here is my WWF ring after several moments in the sun. Had it in direct sunlight, poured the bleach on it, and the peroxide mix, which was recommended to me, and it turned out pretty well. The only part that I wish could come out a little bit better, but I honestly haven't given it enough try, is there's a couple yellow spots, but I've had it out 3 times out in the sun and it just doesn't want to come out, but you know what, I'm okay with it. So pretty pleased with this. So all I have to do is slap on the other ring posts and the ring ropes, which just came in the other day, and a few other things, and need to get some stickers too. So I'll go ahead and put the ring ropes on and the turnbuckles and everything else, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I finally got the last components of my ring. I ordered some stickers online that were on YouTube, and I was able to put on the symbol and then a couple of the other stickers on the side. So these ones are fairly simple. They're just a peel and stick. There's no real trick to it. You level them up, put them on there, and they look pretty brand new. So I'm going to finish this, and then I am going to do the big reveal on the ring so you can see how it looked like it was sitting in or was a litter box to now looking pretty nicely done. So I finished my WWF ring, finally got it all completed from what it looked like at the very beginning of the video, and I would go back and look at that if I were you, and to see where it came. And now where it is, I'm pretty well pleased. The only major thing that I have on this that I could not fix is there's a big old crack right down the center of the pipe. But that's okay, because I'm just going to put some other figures in it. It cleaned up really well. My suggestions from earlier is to do the peroxide and the bleach method and set it out in the sun, as a couple people have actually told me. So there you go. There's the final ring. So if you get one that's as grubby and gross as mine, I think it's kind of hard to find anything that could be worse. It is possible to clean these up. Actually had some of the turnbuckles 3D printed. We got a 3D printer and my son printed those off for me. So I replaced one of the turnbuckles that was missing. Everything else is pretty well intact. So there you go. It's a long video. Thanks for hanging with me, and good luck on all your LJN hunting.